I just saw your new YouTube video, which
Mhm.
let's just say, to be completely honest, the like to dislike ratio is not too good. About a 60% dislike ratio. Some are calling you the most bitter man in Gacha gaming. And I wanted to just get your thoughts because I saw the Zenless Zone Zero 2.0 anniversary live stream and I thought it was quite good, but I heard that your reaction was not so positive. So I wanted to know what's going on in your head. What's the issue? What do you think that other people aren't getting that you are getting? And is the Zenless Zone community the biggest bitches in Gacha gaming?
Yeah, so here are a few things that I want to get straight about the whole
Mhm.
Zenless Zone anniversary thing, especially in regards to like the rewards, and also some things I want to make clear about it being like a version update patch.
Sure.
So when it comes to ZZZ and its anniversary rewards, I don't think that at a baseline they're bad. I
Yeah.
think that they're fine. I just don't personally think that they're like the most crazy ones ever that like blows every other game out of the water.
Mhm.
From the perspective of like at a baseline, it's going to be 33 limited pulls, which is in my opinion, it's not like a little bit, but it's also not like a crazy amount, especially when you consider how ZZZ's banner system works at 90 pity and then 75-25 on the weapon banner.
Mhm.
Combining that with the standard 5 stars, I think is the perspective of, is a standard 5-star character a year into release and a standard 5-star W engine, is that enough to elevate this into like the best anniversary ever? When, let's be entirely honest here, there are better versions of all of those characters already out. It's a year into release when, thinking about these 5-star units and these 5-star W engines, they would have been a lot more helpful way earlier on in release when there weren't as many characters on the roster, there weren't as many teams people could build, and they could actually like, pick and choose how they want to, craft some of those early teams. Like when I think about it from that perspective, I'm like, the value of these standard 5 stars isn't as high as it was before. They're getting added now, and it's on top of just 33 limited pulls. And to me, that like combination as a whole, right, isn't like comparing it to what like, and this is where the video kind of comes from. It's a direct comparison to the rewards that we had in Wuthering Waves, where at a baseline, if you count the anniversary events that Wuwa had, that's around 57, 58 limited pulls that you get from Wuthering Waves. And for a lot of veteran players in both games, they would also prefer to have more limited pulls than a standard dupe, which is what a veteran player is probably going to get, and a standard W engine that they might already have like signatures and stuff for.
Okay, so let me.
Um,
I was gonna pause you because I felt like I was reacting to a video. I'm gonna unpack as much as what you just said before you continue any further. So I think it's a good point that you brought up that this is a anniversary as well as a new version update. It's a
yep.
very, 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 very good point. I think a lot of people were comparing Wuthering Waves as I believe it was what 2.3, 2.4.
Yeah, 2.3 filler patch.
2.3 filler patch that had the anniversary on it rather than a new version update that had the anniversary on it, which obviously would have been much more if that were to be the case. Very fair point. You also said people calling it the best anniversary ever. I think people who said that, I think those, for me, I think those are the extremists. I don't think those are the common mentality. I think these are ZZZ shills that just say, it's the best anniversary of all time. Obviously, it's not the best anniversary of all time. It's a good anniversary, but it's not the best for sure. You said that the standard units and the W engines would have been useful a lot earlier. I absolutely agree. You say that they're pretty much dupes to veteran players. I absolutely agree. However, I do think it is nice for any new player who plans on joining right now to have those characters. It'll be great for new players. Doesn't matter for veteran players. And I do think this anniversary and new version update was targeted towards newer players, which is why they're implementing the season skip feature where you can just start at the new area trying to get those numbers up because I'll be real. And you know this and I know this. And anybody who's outside of the sphere knows this. Zenless Zone Zero is not doing good. It's not. It's the worst performing of the big four. That doesn't mean that it's bad, but it does mean that the amount of players it has, as well as the income that it's making per the per capita of what they're spending on the updates, it's just performing not well. And so they really need to get their numbers up. So I think that's a great point. Good for new players, bad for veteran players. And is there anything else I missed? I tried to absorb everything here. I think that was everything so far. You can keep going if you have anything else to say.
Yeah. So I think on the note of like new players, new player acquisition, that sort of thing, it's very clear that's what's happening. This anniversary and the 5-star reward specifically,
Oh,
very, very helpful for people that are
yeah.
starting the game.
Let me address one thing real quick. I just saw from chat. This is going to be a mentality that people are going to have in the comments. They're going to say
Mhm.
the game's not doing bad. Guys, I'm just saying, out of all of the big Hoyo titles, it's doing the least well. And from a business perspective, obviously Hoyo is going to see that and see, oh, this is our worst performing game that we're actively updating and putting in a large amount of resources into. So obviously Hoyo feels that they need to play catch up to get it to do better than it already is. Because let's be real, it's not performing on the levels of Genshin and Honkai Star Rail where they honestly want it to be. There we
Mhm.
go. So just full,
Yeah. So
yeah.
yeah, I think like to bolster what you're saying about it not performing at the levels, I've never seen a game with this many, or at least a Hoyo game, with this many core changes to its overall gameplay loop over the course of 1 year. If you look at the progression of ZZZ, all, even the good things and the bad things combined, it launched with TVs that were horribly received across all of its betas. It then proceeded to remove the TVs in like some of the core gameplay modes, kept them in some of the other ones for some godforsaken reason. Then they went ahead, they completely adjusted how like Hollow Zero works from like the initial onset of it. It's definitely a better one now. But the thing is, it's like there are so many rapid changes being made to the entire structure of the game and the experience that's happened in a short amount of time. And when they're launching in 2.0, it's coming up with a exploration open world mode essentially, right? Where you're doing like puzzles in like the active environment, you're doing all of this stuff. And so it's extremely clear that the devs and probably leadership at Hoyoverse recognize that this game is in like a constant state of evolution to a degree that's not because it's in a constant state of evolution because the game and its core gameplay loop are simply not at the state that's like conducive to gaining a lot of players currently.
Yeah.
And they wouldn't be making all of these changes, like massive changes to how the game is like played and experienced, if that wasn't the case, and they weren't trying to actually go out and get more players. And when you factor in things like the power creep of Miyabi, the need to like buff older characters, I know a lot of people are like, excited for it, right? I think that them buffing inherently is like a good thing for the
Absolutely.
overall population because
100%.
people are only going to benefit. And I think Hoyo's included in that as well, where, let's be honest here, nobody pulled that Ellen rerun.
Absolutely.
Right, when she reran at 1.5, that banner, my my point of view is that banner either made $0 or it made -dollars because somebody sued Hoyo for having an M6 Ellen, and they were just like, yeah, an M0 Miyabi is literally stronger than the character I spent $2,000 on. Like, what the fuck even is this?
Yes.
Right? They probably got chargebacks, if we're frankly being honest, right? And it's just
I will
when
say,
that's
let's talk about power creep and HP inflation real quick. Because I do think there is a lot of HP inflation in Zenless Zone Zero. Now, I think some of that is necessary. I think some of it isn't. I think they fucked up with Miyabi. They made her way too strong. However,
yeah.
I think that they needed to at least do a 20 to 30% HP inflation for the current patch due to the fact that all characters can now use ults, which increases the strength of all units in the game. So obviously to balance around that, they had to increase the HP a little bit to fluctuate the new fluidity of play. However, I do think it's about 20 to 25% more than necessary due to just Miyabi's presence in the game. And what I'm going to assume, Yi Zhuan will probably be up there with Miyabi, if not trounce Miyabi as well.
Yeah, I think there's definitely the perspective of when you're adding in additional abilities that characters can use, support ones
characters
give
across the
back.
board.
Yeah, support ones give back energy when you're on the stun character and they have their ultimate. Finally, they're able to break the meter faster and get you to that amplified damage state faster. It makes sense that there's a certain degree of HP inflation required to maintain like the balance of the game after triple ults, but how much is too much? Right, that's why I always look at these comparisons of like HP and the Shiyu defense over time, starting from version 1.4, when the triple ultimate update was made, and I don't necessarily look back too much into like 1.1, 1.2, or 1.3. And the fact of the matter is, from version 1.4, 1.7 had 58% HP inflation from version 1.4 when triple ultimates were released.
Okay.
And that, in my opinion, is kind of pushing the envelope a bit too far to the point where
just to clarify, so they added in the triple alt in 1.4. Since 1.4, it is now increased by 57%.
Yeah, 57+%.
If that is true, that's fucking insane.
It's true. And sometimes the Shiyu defense
do you have
HP
the graphs?
goes.
Do you have the graphs of that?
Yeah, we do. One of my mods,
Of course
Kaiser,
you do. Hell yeah.
Yeah. Kaiser, if you got the link to it, I guess you could drop it in Techie's chat.
Okay.
It's just a Google Doc that looks into the HP required to clear, as well as the HP or the damage required to clear, and then the HP that the mobs have. One thing that needs to be clarified is that sometimes the HP goes down, but then they add monsters, or the bosses that are there have like insane amounts of damage resistance or absurdly disgusting movesets where they're like dodging half the time and they're literally not hittable, or they have like 10-second iframe stages where they will just attack you. All you can do is dodge.
So kind of like the ballerinas in the tower.
Yeah.
I hate you like that. When the game says you can't attack them right now, it's so fucking lame.
Yeah, they've had bosses like those in the resets, and those bosses are the times when the HP goes down because obviously, right, the clear time is being extended in other ways. Some of them are uninteractable ways, but that was like actually like one of the bosses that I was fighting in like that EO video that I reacted to the other day, right? It's like the two blade dudes that are just like jumping around and stuff.
Yeah.
And if you like stun them at the right time or you like freeze them at the right time, then they're not able to enter that phase. But that's like only possible, right, if you're running like very specific team comps or playing in a very specific way. So it's like, let me know if he's gotten the graph pulled up.
Yeah, I had it pulled up, and I got everything I need to know from it. So it's good to know that you're being factual here. I will say the bosses who have the invulnerability timers is usually fine for like games like Dark Souls or Elden Ring, but the difference is that this game puts you on a timer. And so that's why when it feels extra horrible, because it is just fighting HP against the clock, and just kind of throwing your disc on the characters and hoping to God that you pull the DPS, because the fights aren't really that challenging for any of the normal endgame content. I will say I do the content for Zone Zero is actually quite fun. For me, just the biggest issue with the game is the UI. Not really enjoying that, but apparently they're fixing it, so I'm going to give it another shot in 2.0. And I have high hopes, but I think everybody gets that you're right about the HP inflation. I'm not here to argue with that. If people are arguing against you, fuck them. They're just dumb. That's pretty much just it. You're listening to EO viewers who are just about the dumbest motherfuckers on the entire platform. We all know it. If you watch that guy, he's like the fucking Hassan of this community. He's a fucking retard. There's no use talking to him. I mean, he has no intellectual capacity to be able to back up anything that he claims. His ego is out of fucking control. Bro gets less than 100 fucking viewers. He's been doing this shit for 3 years. He's pathetic, and he has no accountability for anything he says. I've never once hid that I hate this fucking guy, and I'm glad that people are now realizing that I've been right about this guy, just like I'm right about everything else. Hence I forget to mention, I don't think I'm him. I know I'm him. That's why you're there, and I'm here doing this. So shut up and enjoy the show. Downloading your video
memorized
straight up. Oh, it bothered me so fucking much because he's always been this way. And I have this issue where I always call people out, and everybody tells me that I'm wrong. Fast forward 6 months, oh, he was right. It's fucking out of fucking control. And yeah, I just think people like that are destructive in the space 100%. And the fact that he still can't take accountability for him threatening to leak the fucking DMs in the Discord, when there's a literal screenshot on Twitter that I've showed multiple fucking times, and any content creator that willing to do that, I just don't trust them. As well as the thing that was the most egregious was when he made that video of you, and he took the first time you ever played Lighter and Hugo, completely shits on you, makes an example of you, says you don't care about the game, says you suck ass at the game, say that you're bad for the community, and then he leaves a comment saying, hey, I wasn't throwing any shade at all. The guy is too stupid to have any accountability for his own actions. And that's why he's so dangerous, because he genuinely doesn't understand how destructive for the space he is. But I'll be real, if people like EO didn't exist, I genuinely think the content creation space would be a lot more healthy for that fucking game. But the problem is, who wants to deal with that? I'm good. Yeah, holy fucking.
I mean, that's the thing. Making videos, like he has like not enough relevancy to like get the videos on him to pop off, but he has enough relevancy for his viewers to be annoying as shit.
Yeah.
In like comment sections of videos or just like, in the overall like, even on like Twitch chats as a whole. It's like a very dedicated subsection of the populace that just is an extremely vocal minority. And it gets like it's enough for like a CC to be like aware of what's going on, but then you're like you take like literal L's on your channel for addressing it, which just sucks overall.
Yeah, because any video that you talk about him is gonna bomb because nobody gives a fuck about him. But the people who watch him give a fuck about him, so he has the power to give you probably around 700 to 800 dislikes on your videos, and it's insane how people aren't aware of this shit. It really is just an awful issue to deal with, and that's why I think he's just best to be ignored and leave him in his own little pussy hug box. Because I think the problem that you're having is, and I'm just going to tell you what I genuinely think. You tell me if you think I'm wrong here. Tell me if you think I'm wrong. I think that you have grown a hatred for the Zenless Zone Zero community, but I don't think it's the Zenless Zone community that you have an issue with. I think it's the EO community that you have an issue with. The hardcore elitists that have been brainwashed by this guy to make your experience fucking miserable covering this because he continues to fucking react to your shit and just, label you as a fucking retard. Because I think the Zenless Zone Zero community is genuinely just good people who are just gooners who talk about which character has the most milk in their titties. But let me know what you think. Do you think the overall Zenless Zone community is bad, or do you think it's just the unfortunate subsection that you've had to deal with due to bad actors in the community?
I think the thing is that my point of view is that the Zenless Zone Zero community is like split up into two buckets. You got, like you said, like the happy-go-lucky gooners who are just, literally playing the game to like, jerk off and have fun.
Yeah.
Great, awesome, right? No problems at all with that because they're just having a good time.
Yeah.
Then you have the other section of the populace, right, who are remaining, right? Kind of like the more like dedicated gamers, the more hardcore ones, the ones that are going to like leave comments, do all of that stuff, actually like engage more with like discourse about the game. I believe that the game has ended up filtering so many of like the normal gamers away from its community, from first and foremost, right, the fucking TVs and like how long they took and how boring they were at the start of the game. And that initial filtering that happened, I do believe has like turned the community into like way more like the more like hardcore gamer part of it into like just this weird subsection that has like very interesting tastes when it comes to gameplay. Then you have the HP inflation on top of that, which filters even more, right? And then makes it more of like an elitist thing if you're actually trying to like enjoy like the end game, enjoy that sort of stuff. Like it almost reminds me of like if zero cycling was like the norm in HSR when it's clearly like not. And that would be like representative of the population.
Yeah. The reason why I like talking about this is because what you're going through right now, because you say two buckets, but I think we need to acknowledge that one bucket is a lot larger than the other bucket.
True.
Because the normal people, they heavily outweigh the fucking hardcore people. But I think the problem that you're having right now is the issue that I had with
vocal.
Yes. I had the same issue with Enviosity 4 years ago. And let's be real, EO is like a new Enviosity. He is. I'm the only motherfucker who should be praised. We all fucking know it. And I think that his community brigading the fuck out of your post is making you think that all players are like this when it's not. It's just a couple. And I don't want you to become bitter because I actually enjoy your Zenless Zone Zero gameplay. I think you're actually quite good at the game. And I think it's in your wheelhouse because you're good at WUA. You can be good at Zenless Zone Zero. And I just don't want you to become too bitter and hate this community that would otherwise be open to you if you just become more aware that this is just EO fucking you.
Yeah, so it's like, I think it's a combination of a couple of things, right?
Sure.
It's just overall, there are people, definitely like the elitist EO part of the community, and then there's also the whole like, damn, we just want to talk shit about Wuthering Waves. And naturally, as a Wuthering Waves creator, I would just get bombarded by, I got bombarded by about, I think like 50, 100 plus comments on my recent videos, not even related to ZZZ, about like their anniversary. And how it's literally the greatest thing ever, how it completely clears WUA in every single way. And when you get down to brass tacks in terms of anniversary rewards, you are having 33 pulls, limited 5 stars in ZZZ, versus WUA's 58, 57 pulls, limited pulls, right? And from that perspective, I kind of view it, and I feel like a lot of people could view it as like a trade. 20 limited pulls or a standard character. Some people would prefer one over the other. Right. And from that point of view, I'm just in the bucket, or I'm kind of in the boat of, I think it's more of like an equivalent trade for some people, especially when you factor in that these standard pulls, these standard units, these standard weapons that people are talking about is like God's gift to Gacha. Wuwa had actually had all of those on release. Like
Of course.
you have your standard 5-star that you're able to redeem. People are still calling it launch compensation. Why was I able to log in during 2.0 and get it if it was launch compensation? That's like 8 fucking months after launch. It's not launch compensation anymore at that point. If you're getting it 8 months after the launch issues. And then you have the UL45 weapon box as well, which is just a standard weapon. And so it's just to see like these whole sort of like conversations happening when it's just like, okay, ZZZ effectively, if you're going to compare ZZZ to Wuthering Waves, you're playing catch up on the standard 5-star side.
Has Zenless Zone Zero ever given away a free premium 5-star?
They gave out Haramasa, who was
Haramasa. That was like a side grade as Zhu Yuan, right?
It's like, I think it's a side grade if you're willing to like play him like an actual freak, but he's pretty much a downgrade if you're not willing to like invest a sizable amount of time in him.
Okay, I completely forgot about that character, to be completely honest.
Yeah.
I think it's such an interesting ordeal. I think it is important that people note that Zenless Zone Zero had its anniversary on its version update. Wuthering Waves didn't. However, I also think, in my humble opinion, I think a lot. This is what I'm trying to, because like for me, you gotta understand. My whole thing is getting inside your head right now, and I'm trying to think what's going on, because in my mind, I don't fucking care. I don't even know why we're talking about which anniversary is better. But then I realize you probably have. Correct me if I'm wrong. You probably have a lot of people coming in your chat saying, ZZZ shit on Wuthering Waves. What are you going to say now, you fucking shill? Is that your experience?
Oh, yeah. No,
Okay.
I had about a 50 unique chatters doing that yesterday.
Okay. Because I was wondering, I was like, why is he getting so upset about this? And I realized people are probably going to him because he's the Wuthering Waves guy, and they're probably trying to say, Zenless Zone Zero is better than this, Honkai Star Rail is better than this. Like, we have Genshin going against Wuthering, Honkai Star Rail going against Wuthering, Zenless Zone Zero going against Wuthering, and unless Wuthering Waves is better than every single one, they're going to count that as a W. So it's a 3-on-1 fight, and they're still the underdog because Wuthering Waves shits on all of them at the same fucking time. But anytime they can ever scrap and claw to get a W, they're going to come and, like, try to get a dunk on you.
They're extremely desperate for a W, right? And all I did in that video was just take a look at like the objective facts about both games. And my conclusion from it is that, like, guys, it's not like that good. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying it's just not God's gift to Gacha, what we're talking about over here. Especially when people are counting like the total pull numbers of the patch. They're like, oh, 2.0 actually has like 150. Yeah, it's a new version update, you fucking idiots. I would hope a new version update with a new fucking map, like new fucking mechanics, like all the new like baseline stuff that's in like a 0.0 version of the game has a lot of stuff in it. If you want to do an actual comparison between version updates and fucking pulls, Wuwa 2.0 had 163. You add in Wuwa's anniversary rewards onto 2.0's total pulls, that's 220.
It's a lot of pulls.
That's a lot of fucking pulls if you're counting it a 0.0 update.
Yeah,
that's the difference. And like ZZZ players are over here, they're like jerking themselves off, right? Over like 150 counting their anniversary. And I'm like, guys, it's not like actually that good. It's not bad, but it's not like it's not like the extent of like this crazy like phenomenon that people are like running to every single social media to talk about.
I think that the anniversary was good, but due to people coming into your chat, gassing it up, saying it's God's gift to gaming, I think it's causing you to be a little bit more negative towards it than might be required.
I'm not saying it's bad. I'm simply saying, like, based off of what people are saying, they're overrating it significantly.
Yeah, of course.
Just based on like the fucking objective facts about it.
For sure.
And that's the video. That's what's pissing people off, is me saying it's not the best thing ever. It's okay, but it's just okay.
Mm-hmm. You wouldn't say it's good?
I would say it's okay. It's
give it a 1 to 10.
It's good for some people. It's
okay,
pretty mid for others.
But it is good.
It's probably like a 7.5.
Okay,
8,
I think 7.5 is super fair. Personally, I would say a 7.5 to an 8 is good. I would say like a 6 or 5 is okay.
Yeah,
okay.
but,
So
but
okay, there we go.
I personally think people are running around saying it's like a fucking 10, right? Or a 9.5, 10. And I'm like,
Yeah,
guys,
yeah.
it's 33 pulls, and 10 of them are after the Void Hunter banner.
Yeah.
You get 23 for each one.
I get it. I just saw my homie come under fire, and I wanted to make sure that you weren't losing yourself to the madness right now. So I just wanted to make sure that you're okay. And I think now that makes a lot more sense why there was so much negativity and you know, a lot of vitriol from the comments. But I think I get it now. I think you're gonna be driven to insanity soon, Saint. I think you're gonna be driven to insanity.
I mean, this is the thing, right? I don't think that driven to insanity is necessarily going to happen.
Okay.
Because let's be honest here, right? What am I wrong about in this? What am I actually wrong about in this entire discussion over here? I'll read both chats. Like, what am I incorrect about in any of the analysis that I did?
So here's the thing that I learned a little bit ago. Saint, nothing you're saying is wrong, right? But you're just being a real dick about it.
Hey.
Yeah.
I got at least like 3 comments that were saying,
After ZZZ's live stream, Saints on suicide watch.
and I'm like, like, this is seriously? Like,
Yeah.
and this is on like all of my other videos. I'm like, bro, like, what is wrong with these people? So yeah, I just took the time to just set the fucking facts straight. Because it's like these motherfuckers have like a recency bias of like a goddamn goldfish.
Because, like, oh my gosh, I can get a free copy of I can finally get my M1 Rena and a standard W engine. This is the best thing ever.
And it's like, bro, okay, but you're still only getting 33 limited pulls for the patch. Like,
Yeah.
that doesn't seem like there's a cost to that standard 5-star.
You know what you're doing right now? You're doing. You ever have a girlfriend? You've definitely had a girlfriend. I can tell by the way they talk, the way that you look. You know when they're like, "Oh, babe, I just got this new dress and I'm really excited about it. How do you think it looks?" And you know, she got a little bit of fat pudging out. And you're like, babe, it kind of looks shit. You're not wrong. You didn't lie. It was kind of mean though.
That's true. But the thing is, the ZZZ community.
Because people just want to be excited. You know what I'm saying? People just want to be excited.
I get it, right? And there's a level of excitement that I'm perfectly content with. In that, I'm actually excited for 2.0 as well. I like the new gameplay updates. I thought that menu simulator, which was ZZZ's core gameplay for the past year, right? Pretty dog shit experience, right? I remember spending more time like in the fucking UI than actually going around and like hitting stuff and applying anomalies, right? Not really that great of an experience from that side. I'm excited to see more of the open world stuff, but it's just a matter of like, okay, like, I get that there's a lot in the game to be excited about. Does that necessarily mean that you have to go around with your not that impressive anniversary numbers and then just go ahead and say that this shit's on everything else? And, you know, it's just like, bro, it's not as good as you're saying it is.
You know,
it's okay.
When people call the Wuthering Waves community the comparing waves community, but the only reason why they say that is because they know Wuthering Waves shits on so many other games in every regard. But the moment they ever get a chance to get a dunk, they take it every single time. But I
absolutely,
think I think we've wrapped up everything that we really need to talk about, and I think you know that what I'm saying is right. And I think I get where you're coming from now, and I just wanted to make sure that you didn't have to deal with this shit alone. Because I know a lot of people were like, "What's going on with Saint? Why is he being the most bitter man in Gacha gaming?" But yeah, it was great talking. I hope you enjoy your stream, and thank you for your time, brother.
Yeah, no worries, man. Appreciate it as well. Hope you have a good one too.
Hell yeah. Peace, bro.